So hi guys, today we have Mr. Maxson Lewis, who's the founder and chairman of Magenta Mobility. I have seen their journey. I've seen them growing. I've been seen now. I've seen them exploding in the EV space. I would love him to give a gist of his experience and how Magenta has shaped up, what kind of contribution Magenta has given to the not just in the EV domain but also in the social impact that Magenta has created. So pleasure meeting Maxson after a very long time.
Always a pleasure talking to you. I mean, I remember our earlier journey 7-8 years ago, those conversations and where they are all right now. And just as an introduction, yes, I'm the founder and chairman of Mobility. And Magenta is now India's largest electric vehicle cargo fleet solutions provider. We own and operate more than 2,800 vehicles. And these are three-wheelers, four-wheelers across more than 12 cities in India. Interestingly, while it all started largely electric vehicle development, e-commerce space today, we do businesses beyond e-commerce. Be it, what do you say, FMCG, FMCD, pharma, autos. So, the focus is where you will see a Magenta wherever you go. So
That's great. That's good. And a very interesting discussion we just had about the social impact that you create. Can you shed a light on it? How is it improving the life of, let's say, the people who are close to the
So it is a very important question and one of the most unaddressed questions. We only talk about the EV component, right? We talk about being electric and sustainable. But it's very important to understand that the adoption of EV, especially the logistics cargo space, is slightly different from a traditional logistics. Just allow me to elaborate on it. Like 80% of all vehicles, trucks, LCV, MCVs are owned. 80% are owned by the unorganized sector, which is the driver who owns less than 5 vehicles. So there's a huge disorganized segment out there. And no father would say, "Arey tu kal jaake driver banega." It's not a sense of pride. So it is seen as that aspect of Indian society. It is not aspiration. But think about a situation where if you don't have those, what is going to happen the same which is happening with the air industry right now. Right? So it's so crucial and inherent to India's GDP, but most forgotten. And this is why Magenta is doing something, EV is doing something, and Magenta is doing something. So the electric vehicle adoption is not by individual drivers at this point in time. They are driven by fleet operators like us. And that allows you to bring in a network effect, and that allows you to bring in the network of the fleet with the charging and the technology. But we felt that the drivers are missing because they could not take that risk on electric vehicles because they wanted that confirmation that there is a company beyond the OEM who is supporting them on the infra side of it. That's what's important. And what we are doing right now is that aspect. Large pilots and also vehicles, the ability for driver to participate, monitoring the Magenta. The Magenta provides the vehicle, the charging, the tech, and the demand. We are running this vehicle. And today the same driver was earning, traditionally earning 20 to 25,000, now earning 50,000 for the same vehicle. So this is an interesting model. We don't want to fight against the ecosystem. We want to organize it. The same driver till yesterday was unable, it was not bankable, and no one is capable to invest into the microfinance. Today, on the back of Magenta's confirmed revenue that it's getting, it suddenly become a bankable asset for banks. So for me, I take pride in the fact that not only am I decarbonizing logistics, but we are reorganizing logistics. So that's what I feel is a bigger impact that we are looking at.
It's very interesting, as you mentioned about the aspirational side of the whole it's very different. Make the job aspirational rather than them doing it only for them. Right? And now they also get to banking for the driver. So was this shift in the mindset difficult for you to achieve, like you started with this approach?
you have seen us in the early days. There's one large pivot that we took is from charging only company to a logistics company which also has captive charging, which many people don't know about. We charge our own 10,000 plus vehicles, and that happens every day. So we do have our logistics charging and technology. But yes, this is very interesting thing in terms of when we started the logistics space. We looked at it from a lens of only electric, and I want to be very upfront about it. It was only electric, decarbonization. But as we scaled up, we realized that the biggest adoption of EV will not happen. I mean, EV was a mandate. It will not going to happen only because it's an EV. It will happen when the stakeholders in this ecosystem. So one, the client also needs to get a confirmation that EV chalta hai and that Magenta could. Our driver partners need to give us if there is an EV chalega at an issue and they will be able to make money. That's why they need a partner. So I would say that it started as that. I mean, very EV we started. I mean, we started with the EV 2018. So electric vehicle was a destiny waiting to happen. But the driver partners, social angle, was something bigger. And today, that is a bigger driver to us. And we started, right? I don't want to say Magenta is a EV. That does a lot of EV. It is decarbonizing, but it's also reorganizing us. And that's the stronger thing that really driving us.
And Maxson, let's say come in 10 years, because like you visit in the direction where we see value, we see clear value in terms of putting the efforts and things. In coming 10 years, do you think you'll be able to make it organized and let the, let's say, the driver feel value everywhere or Southeast Asians? Is it doable in that scale?
That's a very leading question, and you're asking whether I'm going international also. But let me answer that in 3 parts. When the electric vehicle journey is no one is questioning. But there also, you know me, every time I try to be very factual about where this is going. And when people are boisterous, I will say, be guarded. The same way I'll say electric is going to be, the adoption of electric is happening fast. It is happening in some specific use cases, like last mile mobility, it is going to do all it without even people doing anything real. Passenger segment, I've always mentioned it will be slightly late. But what I believe right now is, yes, there's a huge journey within India itself. The logistics sector, I wouldn't want to say we'll be able to replace all the trucks. It's going to be a journey. It's not only going to get driven only by electric. There are going to be alternative fuel systems also. Because it has to fit the use case. You just can't force it. So that is happening, and that will happen. Reorganizing of this sector is happening because, let's say, a customer today has to deal with, say, 40, 50 drivers. Or there are e-commerce companies typically dealing with 20,000 driver partners. There is a reorganization there. The Magenta takes that part and we manage it together. So it's win-win for both. And the more the technology there is coming, the more the structure from a government perspective is also coming in. I mean, GST is one structural change. A driver cannot take these credits. The GST is actually a cost upfront business. So these layers, these are not something we can talk about. Now we realize these are all of these layers where I believe is going to drive towards a reorganization of this logistics. It will be the same players, but in a different look and feel. Smarter, from a tech perspective, safer, sustainable also. Yes. And if you don't do it, I'll give you statistics. Logistics cost globally as a percentage of GDP is 8%. Typically 8%, 8 to 10%. All the economies, large economies. Of course, we are the largest, one of the largest. But we are at 14 to 18% of the GDP. There's a lot of inefficiency. So I look at it as an inefficiency. People say, oh, that means there's no business. I say, no. It's an inefficiency that needs to be cleared off. More than the way business is dead. I see this is a huge opportunity, and I don't even want to talk about Southeast Asia or abroad. In India itself, there's a huge opportunity waiting for us.
And it can be catered by making it more organized.
Yeah. Safer, smarter, sustainable. Sustainable through EV. safer through the entire reorganizing, smarter through tech. So these are the three angles we are working.
And as you mentioned, when you have the global logistics as well, you must have recently diversified this segment.
So very interesting. And I believe is that Magenta is not one of the companies who's out there in the market doing a lot of PR. We are very grounded. We've always been that. Very real on what we do. Be it our numbers, be it our outcomes, be it our failures as well. Actually, in the four-wheeler space, we started working way back. It's more than 3 years. In fact, we started on this immediately after we started the three-wheeler journey. We were stopping with the four-wheeler because that's also a use case format. How we work is we work with the OEMs. We work with the OEMs in designing some of these. We work with the OEMs in giving direct input from our drivers. And also we did a lot of VTT and CVT. These vehicle trial testing, CVT is planned by the way. So not only did we test the vehicles for ourselves, but we tested on use cases. And we would work with some of the largest OEMs with them. And while no one talks about it, we are probably India's largest, not only electric vehicle, we operate the largest in the four-wheeler space already. We do believe that it's ended. So you have the 1 tonner, 2 tonner, 2.5 tonners, but move all the way to 7.5 tonners that we are slowly steadily going to control.
And Maxson, do you see these regional or local logistic or other fleet operators who are there in every region, every state, every city? They also work at a micro level organization company with multiple big operators. So do you think there is something that they can do better, or there's something or the challenges that you face from them?
So fortunately, this is about to be upfront about it. We always thought, hey, listen, we are competing with them, right? And therefore we may face some local level issues. The answer is no. And you have to understand that the moment you compete with them, you are in for. No one knows logistics better than the person on the road. Right? He knows not only the business, he also knows every pothole. Right? So we never competed with them. We started working with them. So the same person who originally had a, let's say, a four-wheeler tempo, but we wanted to go electric because the PCOs are better, we redeployed them on Magenta. So we have always seen them as an enablers. But what can they do better? I think one of the things that they need to do better is there's a negative view about how they operate. Right? Unfortunately, that can't be changed. Someone who goes down to that, we call it the naake pe jo fleet operator rickshaw wala hota. That's the local term that is used. But that needs to change, and that will happen when they also start to operate. There are various channels and organizing options. Total and other options are coming through India. I think the faster they adopt that, the better. Because, like I say, 80% of India's employment is MSME. And these are the same people who support that MSME. So, I think it's a cultural shift, it's a mind shift that needs to happen in India. We're happy to work with them. As an example, I just, in Hyderabad, every single week, somebody medical camp for driver partners. It is not only limited to us. We are doing it for anyone who has adopted an EV. So if he adopts EV, he also becomes participant to this. So we are broad-basing this entire partnership. That's it.
So I think the major gist that I get from our it's more about the social impact rather than the policy. And that is where people come into it. That is where the change will eventually happen.
Absolutely. People will change to a sustainable transaction, but it is not sustainable if there is no social impact. So sustainability and social impact is what. And yes, you're right. That's what you're working.
So thanks a lot, Maxson.
Thank you so much. Always an honor to be on your channel, discuss, and wishing you all the best, and wishing everyone who is adopting EV and all the very best in this journey.